Welcome to session 3BG at the GSE UK 2021 conference. This session will be given by Alex Kim, who works at IBM Research. He will be able to obviously tell you a little bit more about what he does at the start when he introduces himself. This is a session about Zebra, Zowe Embedded Browser for RMFSMF and APIs. Trips off the tongue, but Zebra sounds much better. Okay, so remember your feedbacks. This is session 3BG. And also in appreciation of all the time and effort put into the GSE conference by the whole team and the speakers, please dig deep in your pockets and give generously to our charities this year, the RNLI and the Guide Dogs for the Blind, very worthy causes. Questions, you're all on mute. At the end of the session, I will give you the ability to unmute yourself to actually talk to each other. But for now, you're on mute. So any questions, if you could please put them in the chat. Alex will be able to see those and respond as appropriate throughout the presentation. Okay, so with no further ado, I will pass you over to Alex. Hello, Alex.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Hi, everyone. My name is Alex Kim from IBM. I work for IBM Research Organization. We do work with a lot of IBM research and research scientists, research engineers to help other enterprise clients with open source. A lot of innovation happens in open source. And I just joined IBM. Before IBM, I was with IBM Business Partner of Vicom Infinity. And during that time, I started working with Linux Foundation's Open Mainframe project. And in there's a really cool project called Zowe. You can probably see my shirt says Zowe. And Zowe is, if you don't know, it's an open source project under ZOS that try to help and embrace the open source running on ZOS so that they can help with the users and other programmers on ZOS to create a really new way to interact and operate ZOS applications and ZOS operations. Without further ado, let me go on to talk about Zebra. Again, this is the slide to ask you for a general donation for GSE UK and GSE. I really appreciate GSE UK having me to present and giving me opportunities. Again, this is very important, so I'd love to participate too. Thank you for your donations too. What is Zebra? So this was started in 2020, and Open Mainframe Project, in short OMP, has summer internship every year, and it has so many students apply from all around the globe. And when I had this, vision that we can actually introduce ZOS systems to students that doesn't have any knowledge or maybe have a little knowledge about mainframe, what would be another way to get them interested on mainframe systems? And it was one of those system data, because every computer systems have a performance data metrics, and ZOS, you probably know, there's a huge set of data sets talk about and explain about how system runs, which is RMF, and also SMF. And this mentorship program had about 20 students applied for one position around the world, and the one student was selected. His name is Salisa Lee from Nigeria, and it's actually not even a software engineer. He's a medical school student that had a chance to run into mainframe contest called a Master the Mainframe, and he got interested in mainframe, and we actually started working on this internship program for RMF and SMF browser. And that's how it got started, but we are looking to help either system programmers or actual application developers to use RMF using JSON formatted RMF data. And we want to make it open, of course, and people can use it for free and connect to other open source softwares. But there's so many great open source software out there that just need to convert format of other open data formats, such as JSON, that you can easily connect to and then do analytics or visualizations, and even you can speak to it. So it was kind of a cool way to create a interface to ZOS. So this is something that I experienced during those working with Vicom Infinity and even before that, working as a technical sales or advisor for ZOS technical technologies. That a lot of cases, whenever mainframe gets upgraded, or even before that, during day-to-day systems operations, you kind of need to look into performance and capacities, and it kind of always originated from SMF records. Then RMF or CMF gets generated, and sometimes the vendor A wants to see those performance data, or you have a tool to use those vendor data. That has to have a conversion between SMF or RMF, and sometimes they take it XML and create another set of reports. But all these vendor tools don't really share their own format. So I see that a lot of customers has to kind of generate 3 different outputs from SMF whenever they do upgrade for Z or upgrade for storage. They have to generate this report, but it's kind of a pain when I see it, because they cannot share the outputs from this vendor. So what if we have a common data? RMF and SMF is kind of a common data already, but something that tool vendors can actually easily share. So that was the mission statement that we wanted to solve from this problem statement. So as we try to do design thinking process our own, that we kind of have these users in mind. Let's say Bob is the capacity planner in the company, and he wants to understand the health and capacity of users, their systems by graphs, and then they want to store the data in various different formats. And if Tom is the operation manager, he wants to manage their mainframe capacity and project correct decisions based on the capacity trend reports, and also find the analysis easily from different tools. And if a storage system manager like John, he wants to see overall storage system quality of service and have a IO response time and average response time, and then also different IO performance metrics easily using other tools and not vendor specific tools, but more like open system tools that out there. So all these users kind of we envision to use various tools, but in the center that we want to provide a common data format for RMF and maybe later in the SMF. So this is the high-level overview of our Zebra implementation. For now, we do need one component from ZOS to make it work, which is a GPM serve for DDS service server, so that we can take the RMF1 post-processor data or RMF3 real-time data through XML format. And XML just simply converted it into JSON within this Zebra Node.js service. And then we also have a connection to MongoDB. So let's say if you have RMF3 real-time data generated every 100 seconds, we will instantly save that to MongoDB every 100 seconds. And then you can go back in time to review that short interval of RMF3 report anytime. And we also have very simple web interface so that you can kind of test it out. What are the data that you can actually parse and then see in the JSON format. We also have a simple Prometheus data collector. Prometheus is the a kind of time series database that runs on Linux or any other systems like macOS or Windows, that you can collect data from many different formats, and JSON is one of those. And then you can connect to other consumers such as Grafana. Grafana is a very famous open source graphics tool that you can plot time series data, and then you can format it in a different view and very easily. I'll demonstrate this Grafana shortly later. You can check it out too in our website. And the key part is these API services, where this converted JSON data will be served as API, so that if there's any other open source software someone develops or ISV softwares that can consume JSON format data, then they can use this simple APIs, that common way to consume RMF. So this is the part that we actually see the opportunity that we can introduce into Zowe, because Zowe has a really cool API mediation layer that controls all these API catalogs and also controls the access controls with the mainframe security level. And that's how we see that, oh, this is perfect place for Zowe. So this is a simple example of how XML gets converted into JSON format. So some of probably use this DDS service all the time in the website, HTTPS, and the site URL and these resource numbers that gets the CPU report. And you can see the XML format is kind of hard. You can read it still, but it's kind of hard to read it because it has a start and end tag over here at every line. If we convert it into JSON format, it could be a lot easier to read, and even programmers can actually see what that is. We actually have improved the report format, but this is how you can call this same CPU report with the Zebra APIs. So this is the main screen. I'll go to some demos later how it works, but basically it has the RMF3 report, and it has a target LPAR. It supports multiple LPARs. So that is the huge improvement in version 1 we just trying to announce. And RMF1 report, you can specify start date and end date for multiple day reports, and then you can actually display onto the web browser. And you can go to the Grafana or MongoDB to browse data into graphics or JSON or BSON formats. the key changes we made for version 1 is that you can select the multiple outbars so that only one instance of Zebra can run either on your ZOS or any other Linux systems, or even in your workstation, laptops, computers. And then you can just point into DDS service. And then you can actually go to different outbars to get the data into those supported programs or APIs. And there are predefined report types. You can have a channel report, CPC report, delay report, and then all this device report that has RMF 1 and 3 support. And in the browser, you can actually easily see and select the days for start of RMF 1 and the end date. When we integrate into API mediation layer in Zowe, that this is part of the screenshot on the Zowe desktop, that you can see that it comes with a simple tiles, but we actually integrated into API mediation layer, and it can control the access from outside or inside the ZOS to have someone to access API. So you can control those access through the ACF, RecF, or any other top secrets that ZOS can manage it. It also comes with a Swagger definition, so you can try the website that has RMF 1 to RMF 3 Swagger definitions, and then simple call command and request URI for APIs. So when you ask for CPC report, again, this is the output format that comes with it. And these are the sample APIs for that current Zebra support. So you can see that when you ask for get report, version 1 and alpha name, and this is for RMF3 reports and report types. And you can have multiple parameters based on different type formats, such as user report or system information, and based on the RMF metric ID, which is very useful if you want to have only one specific RMF report in the APIs. So this is great way to integrate to other software, your own visualization tool or analytics tool, so that anyone can integrate RMF into their software or applications. This is interesting chart. So when we were envisioning Zebra app, we were thinking about not giving any extra overhead to ZOS, because ZOS is very, as you know, very sensitive on using its own capacity. So hopefully we don't introduce any heavy overload just because it's a monitoring tool. Monitoring tool doesn't want to be consumer of the system capacity or CPU time, and rather we want to help kind of monitor and reduce the usage sometimes, right? So you can run it on Zowe, and you can run it on under Unix system services for node application, and you can connect to multiple clients, and clients can have its own Grafana and MongoDB running on their systems. And this is one way to use it. Or you can have your own PC or your workstation running Zebra Node app. Just connect to the ZOS DDS service. Or this is something we actually use in our demo system. We have a ZOS DDS service running and a Zebra app running on the application server. Today it's running on x86 and the cloud. And you can connect to Zebra app, and it only pulls the data once every 100 seconds, right? Or whenever they someone requests for RMF one report. So that is very small load to ZOS because everybody else is asking to get the data from this app server running off platform ZOS. So the only load to ZOS is when it gets to report every 100 seconds, or someone asks for a history report from ZOS itself. This is the Grafana screenshot where you can see that it has, this is the sample data comes with the Zebra. So it has alpha utilization based on LSPL numbers. You type in your system's PCI number from, you can find it from either IBM Resource Link, an LSPR table, or you can find it from IBM's tool called ZPCR, so that you can have a more accurate PCI values, or you can type in your own calculation from any other LSPR calculations, and it can actually display dynamically how many MIPS or how many PCIs you're consuming for system LPARs, and it can have more detailed the workload report in real time. It's almost real time, never be real time because it has delay. And you can see that, has different service classes, and you can change the colors, and you can change the names too. And has, the high level view, a different type of reports based on time. This is the bar graph alpha utilization report. And this is the same alpha report, utilization report, but in the time series. And you can see also if you specify the MSU, you can kind of see the 4-hour rolling average of MSU values over time, which is helpful if you are concerned about, what's the license charges based on MSU usage. Another use case that you can see is that from some programmers would like to get these real-time report and every 100 seconds or 5-minute interval if you set it, that goes back in time. So we store every data we sample from RMF3 into MongoDB that you can go back and either retrieve it or reformat it to another data side. And you can see that MongoDB can actually really cool tool because it can be off platform. We can run on Linux One, so that you have a very high performance JSON database for later use. I don't have it because when I was with Vicom Infinity, there was a really cool voice assistant called Viva, and Viva actually can be programmed to call API for Zebra, and I was able to demonstrate that asking the voice assistant to send reports. So for this case, I was saying send me an LPAR report for past 2 hours, and then it can send me a text message to take a snapshot of past 2 hours of report into my phone. And also, it can also integrate into a chatbot. So this is the Slack interface. So Watson Assistant from IBM can actually have a really cool and simple and easy way to connect to Slack, and it's not really difficult to create a chatbot using webhook. And once you have these conditions set, you can take a snapshot of Grafana and send it to Watson Assistant through Slack. I'm right here. I'm saying send me the LPAR report for 5 days. Similar way, I can ask for a report in Voice Assistant Viva, and it will send the report into a Slack channel. This is really useful if you are in a group that trying to generate a report to share. You don't even have to go to Grafana panel. You just simply in a group chat, you just say this Slack bot named Zebra bot, and then you can say show us this report for past 3 hours. It will just pop it up right away. Not maybe 3 seconds delay, but it is a cool way to kind of do conversational operations that it will be really popular in anytime soon, because this is you can see a lot of companies adopting Slack or Microsoft Teams that after a pandemic, that's the only way that you can communicate and work with other groups. And this is kind of nice way to integrate into your group chat so that people can identify issues and analyze issues, and you can even just simply link it to Grafana and then dive into the system report. And this is really cool demo that we did with Open Mainframe Project Summit in September this year. IBM had summer intern named Andrew Tridell. He's back in school now, but he created this cool app running on Zowe desktop, and you can actually pull the APIs from Zebra and show the graphics of different report like alpha utilization from RMF3 real time, and it's an open source, so you can try it. If you're running Zowe desktop today, I think you can ping us if you have any questions. But this is a cool way to integrate Zebra into desktop app, and we are working to improve it. And if you have any feedbacks, how you want to see it, we are open. This is cool part of being open source, because users can actually ask a lot of features they want, and then open source developers take that input and then kind of apply it to next version or a few versions later, and when it have a chance, because this is user-driven open source community. If user sees those needs, I think it, especially Zowe community is very open to adopt it and then apply for the improvements, because that's how we open source community works, right? Because it's without the users, the open source project doesn't have really value. So please come to Zebra Git or our Zowe community and take a look at it. You can see over here, this is a GitHub link for Zebra. You can download it and try it. And if you have any questions or issues, open up an issue over there. Our team will try to answer any questions you have and help you to install Zebra on your machine. And as I said, Zebra is part of Zowe project, the Open Mainframe project. And Zowe has a really cool website, and you can learn more about Zowe. There are several other Zowe presentations during GSE UK. You can check it out either today or replay from this week, last week. And there are so many cool projects under Zowe. And we have, today is the meeting day, 8 a.m. Eastern time, every other Thursday. So if you have any questions or concerns or suggestions, come to our Zebra meeting, and then you can, tell us what you like or you don't like, or any ideas that you want to have for the future version of Zebra. And I'll show you some demos, but don't forget to submit your session feedback. I'll really appreciate it. And again, this is the information about the becoming of GSE UK members, and this is cool benefits of being members. So here is some of those demos that I wanted to show you. Here you go. So if you have a web browser, you can go to zebra.talktothemainframe.com. It's up and running right now. And you can see 3 different links, very simple rudimentary website. But if you click on the first one, you can go to the GitHub link for our open source packages for Zebra. It has introductions, and you can simply clone it and install into your laptop or your service system services in the Unix services in the ZOS or in any other Linux machines too. And if you click on the second link, this is the demo system we are running on IBM Cloud. And right now it has 2 LPARs connected, and all PRT. This is the mainframe running on Vicom Infinity, and they generously offer system resources to many of open mainframe projects. And it has a different type of report. You can see CPC report, has process report and usage reports. Let me try to run CPC report in the real time, and you can see it here. The timestamp 8:31 is actually the time is different than UK time, and you can see the CPC name and the serial numbers, all other metrics that comes with the CPC report. You can see it. And RMF1 report, also we have a predefined report types. If I ask for a CPU report for, let's try yesterday, because today we haven't finished the generating report much. You can see that CPU activity report here, CPU type 8562, the software model is Z02, hardware model is T02, which is a smaller Z15. And you can see this CPU number 0, we have 2 CPUs, right? CPU number 1 and time online and current, the timestamp MBS BG is 1.27%. And you can see various other reports such as, workload services for, in ready queue, out ready queue. And you can see different metrics over here as well. And this is great when you try to move it to another data, plotting software or analytics software. You can just take the key and parse the, the value from the key so that it's easy to consume. One cool way we thought that we could demonstrate using, Zebra is this Grafana. Grafana is open source graphical tool, and you can download it in your laptop or you can run it as a server. Today, this demo system running it as a server, you can see that it has a LPAR utilization report and workload, utilization report, and you can just drag and drop to zoom in easily. And you can say, I want to see the report from past 15 minutes, 3 hours. And if I want to see here to see what that pick is about, I can click on this names. Oh yeah, it was a ZBM prod LPAR that had about 11% of the IFLs. And I can zoom in here easily, like a drag and drop. It's very intuitive, user interface. You can see it, and you can also see the ZOS workload changes, the view changes for the ZOS workload report at the same time. I can go back in the panel here. I want to see past 2 days, and oh, what's this peak over here? Let me try again. Sorry. What is this peak here? It's only very low utilized alpha because Vicom Infinity system is for demo purposes and don't have any production work running. you can see that is Unix service systems is having the highest capacity use in this time around 2:30 in the morning, and it's about 2%, little over 2%, right? And you can see other values here, channel reports, and let's say, and other DASD reports, and you can see the MSU value changes over time from 2 to 3. And this, November 6th and November 7th has a higher MSU utilization than other days, right? So Grafana is easy because you can simply change the view from, let's say, workload report. Let's change this here. I can click on the view and edit, and instead of lines, I wanna maybe visualize in gauge format, or you can change to the bar gauge, and or if the report is about longer time period, and you can have a, like, it has a heat map. It depends on what kind of metrics you want to import, and then you can even actually program the queries into Grafana display, so you can have a more intelligent reporting types. It's very easy to use and very intuitive, and you can add more values here as a query, and it can actually pull down the menu, and you can see here effective utilization for the LPARs, and you have a channel report. The cool thing about the new version of Zebra is that our developer, Justin, has implemented way to add those values automatically. So you can have a menu to create these values into Grafana easily. We have a way to help you to add these values, and it is a cool way to kind of interact with the APIs in Zebra into Grafana. In the menu over here in the Zebra main menu, if you click on all APIs, it will pop up the supported APIs for Zebra in Swagger definition. So you can click on each one of those, get report. Mostly it's get because we only read from the report. We're not gonna write into RMF or SMF, right? But this is the new function that you can actually create the metrics into Zebra system by doing this. Okay, you can read the current metrics, or you can define the new metrics that you want to create from all the reports generated by RMF or RMF 1 or 3. So this is a good improvement, and I think this is from the user feedback we had over the summertime. There was a user in Australia that wanted to have a better way to integrate into Grafana, and to that input, and our developer Justin had this idea of using APIs to create this new metrics. So if you are a user of Zebra, let us know how you feel about this new feature. And when you go to our GitHub and try it, we currently haven't merged for main branch yet. But if you go to GitHub on Zebra, when you clone it, try to clone it from Zebra_dap branch, because that's the branch that we try to put the latest and greatest features from developers, and then we're gonna put into main version sometime soon. And hopefully this session was helpful to understand what Zebra is. And again, I would really appreciate if you can provide any feedbacks and become a member of GSE UK. Do you have any questions? Is there any questions that I can answer. I don't see anything on the chat window. I'd love to have any open mic for questions.
Okay, Alex. So I have given all the attendees the opportunity to unmute themselves so that they can speak to you directly. Yep, please remember your feedback for 3BG, and the second question is about the length of the session. 9 is not the correct answer. That would mean that it was way too long. Please read the question and answer points carefully. But now, if you want to put a question in the chat or ask any question verbally, you may do so.
Oh, they have to unmute themselves, right?
Yeah, they will need to unmute themselves first, but they are able to do that now.
Okay.
But it seems like it was a very comprehensive session. No questions from the audience. I would like to show my appreciation.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate having you today. And it was very simple presentation, nothing complex. So try it out and go to our zebra.talktothemainframe.com and give us any feedbacks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If there's nothing else, I'm going to end the session. Okay, bye.
Bye.